Hello and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Jason, your host, and joining me today is my wonderful co-host, Julia. How are you doing today, Julia?
Hi, Jason. I'm doing great, and I'm super excited about today's topic because it's something every English learner struggles with at some point: pronunciation.
That's right. Today, we're talking about the fastest way to improve your English pronunciation. Whether you're a beginner or an advanced learner, pronunciation can be challenging. Sometimes, even small mistakes can change the meaning of a word completely.
Exactly. And the good news is, improving your pronunciation doesn't have to take years. There are specific techniques that can help you sound more natural and confident in English, fast.
So, if you've ever felt nervous about speaking English because you're afraid of mispronouncing words, stay with us. By the end of this episode, you'll have some powerful tools to improve your pronunciation quickly.
And don't worry, we'll keep things simple and practical. We'll talk about common mistakes, give you easy exercises, and share resources that will help you master English pronunciation.
Sounds great. So, let's get started. First, let's talk about why pronunciation is so important and how it can change the way people understand you. All right. So, before we jump into the fastest ways to improve pronunciation, let's first talk about why pronunciation is so important in English communication.
Yes, a lot of learners focus on grammar and vocabulary, which are important, but pronunciation plays a huge role in how well others understand you.
Exactly. You could have perfect grammar and know thousands of words, but if your pronunciation is unclear, people might still struggle to understand you.
Right. And sometimes even small pronunciation mistakes can completely change the meaning of a word. For example, let's take the words beach and BH. If you don't pronounce the long E sound correctly, you might end up saying something very different.
That's a great example. Another common one is 30 and 13. If you don't stress the right syllable, people might get confused about which number you mean.
Exactly. And pronunciation isn't just about individual words, it's also about rhythm, stress, and intonation. If you use the wrong stress in a sentence, the meaning might sound unnatural or even confusing to a native speaker.
That's so true. A good example is the question, "What do you want?" If you say it with a flat tone, it sounds neutral. But if you stress you, like "What do you want?" it can sound rude or aggressive.
Yes, so pronunciation isn't just about saying words correctly, it's also about how you say them. Good pronunciation makes you sound more natural and confident.
And it also improves your listening skills. When you practice pronunciation, you become more aware of the way native speakers speak, which helps you understand conversations better.
Absolutely. So now that we understand why pronunciation is so important, let's talk about some of the most common pronunciation mistakes that English learners make.
Now that we know how important pronunciation is, let's talk about some of the most common pronunciation mistakes that English learners make.
Yes, no matter what your native language is, there are some tricky English sounds that many learners struggle with. Let's start with one of the biggest ones, the TH sound.
Oh yes, the sounds theta and eth, like in think and this, are really difficult for many learners because they don't exist in some languages.
Exactly. Instead of think, some learners say tink or sink, and instead of this, they say dis or zis.
So, if you struggle with eth, here's a quick tip. Place your tongue between your teeth, not behind them, and gently blow air out. The hink this, that. Try practicing slowly.
That's a great tip. Another common mistake is confusing long and short vowel sounds. For example, words like ship and sheep. Many learners pronounce them the same, but ship has a short I sound, while sheep has a long I sound.
Yes! And that's an important one because if you say, "I want a sheet of paper," but pronounce sheet incorrectly, well, it might sound like a bad word.
Exactly. Another mistake is not pronouncing word endings clearly. Some learners drop the last sound, especially with words that end in S or ed. For example, instead of saying I liked it, they say I like it.
Right. And that can cause confusion because like and liked have different meanings. The same happens with plurals. If you don't pronounce the S in cats, people might think you're talking about just one cat instead of many.
Yes, another big challenge is word stress. English has strong and weak syllables, and if you stress the wrong part of a word, it can sound strange. For example, the word record, if you say re-cord, it's a noun, like a music record. But if you say record, it's a verb, meaning to save information.
That's a great example. Another one is present. If you say present, it's a noun, like a gift. But if you say present, it's a verb, meaning to give something.
So, word stress is super important for making your speech sound natural. All right, now that we've covered some common mistakes, let's move on to the part everyone's been waiting for: the fastest ways to improve pronunciation.
All right. Now, let's get into the most exciting part, the fastest ways to improve your English pronunciation. If you want to sound more natural quickly, these techniques will help.
Yes, and the best part is you don't need a teacher or a language partner for most of these. You can practice by yourself.
That's right. So, let's start with one of the most effective methods, shadowing.
Shadowing is amazing. It's when you listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say, immediately trying to copy their pronunciation, rhythm, and tone.
Exactly. It's like being a parrot. You don't stop to think. You just listen and repeat. This helps your mouth get used to the natural sounds of English.
And it's so easy to do. Just pick a short clip from a movie, podcast, or YouTube video, listen to a sentence, pause, and repeat it exactly the way the speaker says it.
Great tip! Another fast way to improve is recording yourself when you speak.
Oh, yes. Many learners don't realize how they actually sound. When you record yourself, you can compare your pronunciation to a native speaker and notice your mistakes.
That's right. Try reading a sentence, record yourself, then listen to the original audio and compare. This helps you hear the differences and improve faster.
Another powerful technique is focusing on mouth and tongue position. Many English sounds require specific mouth movements that might be different from your native language.
Exactly. For example, the R sound in English is different from the R in many other languages. Instead of rolling your tongue, you need to pull it back slightly.
Yes, and watching yourself in a mirror while practicing can really help. If your mouth is in the wrong position, your pronunciation will be off.
Great point! Another fun and effective method is learning pronunciation through songs and tongue twisters.
Oh, I love this one. Singing helps you practice intonation, rhythm, and connected speech, while tongue twisters help with tricky sounds. Try saying, "She sells seashells by the seashore" 5 times fast.
That's a hard one. But it's so good for training your tongue to move smoothly between sounds.
One more tip: use AI or pronunciation apps. Apps like ELSA Speak or Forvo can help you check and correct your pronunciation instantly.
Yes, technology is a great tool to practice anytime, anywhere. So, to summarize, try shadowing recording yourself, focusing on mouth position, practicing with songs and tongue twisters, and using apps to improve your pronunciation faster.
Exactly. Now let's talk about the daily habits that will help you maintain your pronunciation progress.
Now that we've talked about the fastest ways to improve pronunciation, let's focus on some practical exercises that you can do every day to make real progress.
Yes, these exercises are simple, but if you practice them consistently, you'll see huge improvements in how clear and natural your pronunciation sounds.
All right, let's start with the first exercise, minimal pairs practice.
Oh, I love this one. Minimal pairs are words that sound almost the same but have one small pronunciation difference. For example, ship and sheep or bat and bet.
Exactly. If you mix up these words, it can change the meaning of what you're saying. So, the best way to practice is to say each word slowly and clearly, then repeat it faster. You can even record yourself to check if you're saying them correctly.
That's a great exercise. Another powerful one is the slow motion speaking exercise. Instead of speaking fast, try pronouncing each word very slowly, exaggerating the sounds.
Yes, this helps your tongue and mouth muscles get used to the correct pronunciation. And once you get comfortable, you can slowly speed up to natural speech.
Exactly. Another fun exercise is the pencil technique. This is where you put a pencil horizontally between your teeth and try to read a sentence out loud. It forces you to move your mouth more clearly.
Oh, that's a good one. Since the pencil makes it harder to speak when you remove it, your pronunciation becomes much clearer.
Yes. And here's one of my favorites, the mirror method. Stand in front of a mirror and watch how your mouth moves when you speak. Compare it to a native speaker and adjust your lips, tongue, and jaw position.
That's a great tip. And one last exercise, reading aloud with emotion. When you read with strong emotions, like excitement, sadness, or surprise, you naturally improve your intonation, rhythm, and pronunciation.
Yes, try reading a short story or a conversation script with different emotions. It makes pronunciation practice fun and more effective.
All right, so we've covered some great exercises. Minimal pairs, slow motion, speaking the pencil technique, the mirror method, and reading with emotion. Now let's talk about daily habits to make sure you keep improving. We've talked about techniques and exercises, but now let's explore some useful tools and resources that can help you improve your pronunciation even faster.
Yes, there are so many great apps, websites, and tools that can help you practice pronunciation with real-time feedback. Let's start with pronunciation apps.
One of the best pronunciation apps is ELSA Speak. It uses AI to analyze your pronunciation and gives you instant feedback on what you need to improve.
Oh, that's a great one. Another amazing tool is Forvo. It's a website where you can hear real native speakers pronouncing words in different accents.
Yes. And if you want interactive pronunciation practice, apps like Speechling and Sounds. The pronunciation app are great for learning phonetic sounds and improving clarity.
Exactly, and don't forget YouTube channels that focus on pronunciation. Channels like Rachel's English and BBC Learning English break down pronunciation in an easy-to-follow way.
Oh, and podcasts are great too. Listening to native English speakers on podcasts like the American English Podcast or the British Council Podcast can help you train your ears to recognize sounds and accents.
Yes. Another great tool is Google's pronunciation feature. Just type how to pronounce word into Google, and it will show you how to say it and even let you practice.
That's a fantastic tip. And one last tool. If you want to test your pronunciation with real people, you can use language exchange apps like HelloTalk or Tandem to practice with native speakers.
That's right. So to summarize, use pronunciation apps like Elsa Speak, Forvo for real native pronunciations, YouTube channels like Rachel's English Podcasts, Google's pronunciation tool and language exchange apps to practice with real people.
Awesome! Now let's move on to our final section, final tips and motivation to keep improving. Now that we have all the tools and exercises, let's talk about something very important. Creating a daily pronunciation habit.
Yes, consistency is the key to improvement. If you practice pronunciation for just 10 to 15 minutes a day, you'll see big results over time.
Absolutely. The best way to do this is to make pronunciation practice part of your daily routine. For example, you can practice shadowing while listening to a podcast during breakfast.
That's a great idea. Another habit is to pick one pronunciation challenge per day, like focusing on the th sound today and the r sound tomorrow.
Oh, I like that. And if you record yourself reading a short paragraph every day, you can compare your progress over time.
Exactly. And don't forget, speak out loud as much as possible. Even talking to yourself in English helps you develop muscle memory for better pronunciation.
Yes. So, to summarize, practice 10 to 15 minutes a day. Use shadowing, daily challenges, recording yourself, and speaking out loud to build a strong pronunciation habit.
That's right. Now let's wrap up with some final tips and motivation to keep improving.
All right. We've covered a lot today about improving English pronunciation. So, let's do a quick recap.
Yes. First, we talked about why pronunciation matters and how it helps you communicate clearly and confidently.
Then we discussed common pronunciation mistakes and how to avoid them.
Next, we shared the fastest ways to improve pronunciation, followed by practical exercises you can do every day.
We also gave you useful tools and resources. And finally, we talked about building a daily pronunciation habit for long-term success.
Remember, improving pronunciation is a journey. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just keep practicing, listening, and speaking every day.
That's right. Stay patient, stay motivated, and most importantly, enjoy the learning process. You've got this.
Thanks for joining us today. Keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Jason, your host, and as always, I'm here with my awesome co-host, Julia. Hey Julia!
Hi, Jason. Hello, everyone. It's so great to have you with us today. We have something really exciting to share with you.
Yes, today's episode is called the Fluency Formula. Think, speak, repeat. It's all about how you can speak English more fluently using this simple, powerful three-step method.
That's right. If you've ever asked yourself, how can I become fluent in English? This episode is for you. And the best part? You don't need to be perfect. You just need to practice in the right way.
Exactly. You don't need expensive courses or a native speaker to talk to every day. This fluency formula will help you use what you already know and grow your skills step by step.
And we'll break it down together. Think in English, speak often, and repeat daily. Each part is important, and we'll guide you through how to do it.
So if you're ready to feel more confident and natural when you speak English, stay with us. By the end of this episode, you'll have a plan you can start using today.
Let's get started. First, what does it really mean to be fluent, and why do so many learners struggle with it?
Great question. Let's talk about that now. So, before we jump into the fluency formula, let's talk about a really important question. What is fluency?
Yeah, that's a good place to start. A lot of learners think fluency means speaking fast or using big, complicated words, but that's not true at all.
Exactly. Fluency isn't about speed. It's about flow. When you're fluent, you can speak clearly and smoothly, even if your words are simple.
Right. Think of fluency like a river. It keeps moving. You don't want to stop every few seconds to think of a word or translate from your native language. You want your thoughts to flow in English.
That's a great image, Julia. And the good news is, you don't need perfect grammar or a huge vocabulary to be fluent. You just need enough to express your ideas confidently.
Let's give a quick example. Let's say someone wants to say, "Yesterday, I had a great time with my friends. We went to the park and played soccer." Even if they say, "Yesterday I go park with friends. We play football. Happy day." That's still communication. That's still fluency.
Yes, and over time, with practice, it gets better. You fix small mistakes, you add more words. But the key is to keep speaking and not stop because you're afraid of being wrong.
Absolutely. Many learners wait until they feel perfect, but that day never comes. Fluency is not about perfection, it's about connection, being able to share your thoughts without freezing.
So, if you're listening right now and you think, I'm not fluent yet, just know you're probably closer than you think. You just need the right habits. And that's what we're going to talk about next.
Yes, let's start with step 1 of the fluency formula, think in English. This one is a game changer.
Let's dive in. All right, let's begin with step 1 of the fluency formula. Think in English. This step is so important, and many learners skip it without realizing.
Yes, most people try to speak English, but they're still thinking in their native language first. That makes it harder to speak fluently because your brain has to translate every word.
Exactly. Imagine trying to talk while translating at the same time. It's slow, stressful, and it breaks your flow. But if you think in English, your words come out faster and more naturally.
So the question is, how can learners start thinking in English?
Great question. The good news is you don't need to be advanced to do this. You can start small. For example, describe your day in English. I wake up. I brush my teeth. I eat breakfast. Simple sentences, but powerful practice.
That's right. You don't have to say it out loud yet. Just think it. Like, when you're walking, you can say in your mind, "I see a car. The car is red. A dog is running."
Exactly. Use the world around you. You can also plan your day in English. Try this. Today, I will go to class. I will study English. Then, I will meet my friend.
It's like giving your brain a daily English workout. Even 5 minutes a day can help change the way you think, and that builds fluency.
Let me share a little story. One learner I worked with used to translate everything from her first language. She always paused when speaking. Then, she started thinking in English for just 10 minutes a day, while cooking or walking. After 2 months, she was speaking much more smoothly.
Wow, that's the power of practice. Thinking in English also helps you stop depending on translation apps.
Absolutely. And here's a great trick for listeners. Talk to yourself in your mind throughout the day. If you're tired, think I'm tired, but I'll finish my work. If you're happy, think I'm happy, because I'm learning English.
And don't worry about grammar or mistakes. This is for your mind, not your teacher. The goal is to get used to English thoughts.
Right. Fluency begins in the brain. If you think in English, your words will come faster when you speak. That's what fluency really means. Smooth, quick communication.
So to our listeners, try this today. Spend a few minutes thinking in English. Describe what you see. Plan your next steps. Or even tell a little story in your head.
Yes, and remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just start. Little by little, your brain will adjust. It becomes more natural over time.
Okay, so that was step 1 of the fluency formula. Now, are you ready for step 2?
Oh yes, this is where things really start moving. Let's talk about speaking. Welcome back. Now that we've talked about thinking in English, let's move on to step 2 of the fluency formula. Speak with confidence.
Yes, this is where many learners get nervous. They know some English, they understand people, but when it's time to speak, they freeze.
Exactly. They worry, what if I make a mistake? Or, what if I sound silly? But here's the truth. Mistakes are part of learning. Every fluent speaker made many mistakes before they became fluent.
Absolutely. Even native speakers make mistakes. The key is to keep speaking even if it's not perfect.
Right? And you don't need to speak fast or use big words. Just speak clearly and confidently. That's fluency.
Now, some learners say, but Jason, Julia, I don't have anyone to talk to. Don't worry, we've got solutions.
Yes, you can still practice speaking without a partner. One easy way is to speak out loud to yourself.
For example, in the morning, look in the mirror and say, "Good morning. Today I will practice English. I feel strong and ready." It feels a little funny at first, but it works.
Another great way is to record your voice. Talk for 1 minute about your day or your favorite food. Then listen. You'll hear what you're doing well and what you can improve.
Yes, and when you record yourself every day, you'll start to notice your progress. You'll hear your fluency growing.
And remember, don't just wait for perfect grammar. Fluency comes from speaking often, not from only studying rules.
Exactly. Also, try shadowing. That means listening to a short English sentence, then repeating it right after like an echo.
That's a great tip. You can do this with podcasts, YouTube videos, or English movies. Listen, pause, repeat. Just like a conversation.
And one more thing, use the English you know. Don't worry if you only know simple words. Use them. Say, I go store, I buy food, I happy. That's a great start.
Yes. Later, you can say, I went to the store and bought some food. I felt happy. But you only get there by speaking today.
So, to all our listeners, don't wait. Start speaking today. Out loud, to yourself, to a friend, to your phone, to your mirror. Just speak.
All right. Now that we've talked about speaking with confidence, it's time for the final part of our fluency formula. Repeat. This is where the real magic happens.
Let's go. Time to build fluency like a habit.
Welcome back. We've talked about thinking in English and speaking with confidence. Now it's time for the final and most powerful step. Repeat consistently.
Yes, this step is the secret ingredient. If you want to be fluent in English, you have to repeat your practice again and again. Not just once, not just for a week, but every day.
Right. Fluency doesn't come from just one big lesson. It comes from small daily actions. Think of it like exercise. You don't get strong from going to the gym once. You get strong by going every day.
Exactly. And in English learning, repetition builds confidence, memory, and fluency. When you repeat words and sentences often, they become automatic.
Let's give an example. If you learn the sentence, "How are you today?" and repeat it 10 times a day, it becomes natural. Later, you can build more. "How are you today?" "I'm doing well, thank you." What about you?
Yes, and you can do this with anything. Daily routines, small talks, questions, answers. Repeat, repeat, repeat.
Here's a great tip. Make a small routine. For example, every morning, say 5 English sentences. Every night, listen to an English podcast for 5 minutes. Then repeat what you hear.
You can even keep a notebook or use your phone. Write or record the same phrases every day for 1 week. By day 7, you'll say them without thinking.
And don't worry if it feels boring. Repetition may feel simple, but it's powerful. It trains your brain to think and speak in English automatically.
That's what fluency is all about. Automatic speech. You don't stop to translate. You don't freeze. You just speak.
Another fun idea is to use flashcards. You can write words or phrases on cards and practice every day. Or use apps like Anki or Quizlet for digital repetition.
I love those. And remember, repetition doesn't mean doing the exact same thing every day. You can repeat the idea in different ways: speaking, writing, listening, watching, even singing.
Great point. For example, if you learned "I'm learning English to get a better job," you can say it aloud. Write it down. Listen to someone else say it. Make your own version. I study English to talk to people.
The key is don't stop. Keep showing up every day, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes. Fluency grows with daily repetition.
So, to our listeners, remember this. Think in English, speak with confidence, and repeat every day.
That's the fluency formula. And now you know the final step. Repeat consistently to make fluency your new habit.
Next up, we'll show you how to put all these steps together in your real daily life. Stay with us. Okay, we've talked about each step of the fluency formula. Think, speak, repeat. But now, let's answer the big question. How do you use this in real life?
Great question. Learning theory is one thing, but using English in your real, everyday life, that's where fluency starts to grow.
So let's break it down. First, the think step. In real life, this means trying to think in English during your daily routines. For example, when you're walking or cooking, try saying in your mind, I am cooking rice. It smells good. I will eat soon.
Exactly. You don't need to say perfect sentences, just simple thoughts in English. You can also label things around you in English. Table, window, phone. It helps your brain start thinking naturally in English.
Now, let's go to speak. In real life, speak even in small moments. For example, talk to yourself in the mirror in the morning. Say something like, Good morning. Today, I feel happy. I will learn English.
Or if you're alone at home, describe what you're doing, like I'm washing dishes. The water is hot. I'm almost done.
And don't forget about recording yourself. It's one of the best ways to practice speaking, even if you don't have a partner.
Now for repeat. This is the habit part. You need to do these things every day. Make a schedule. Maybe in the morning you think in English. At lunch you speak for 1 minute. At night you repeat sentences or listen to a short English podcast.
Yes, even just 10 to 15 minutes a day is powerful if you do it consistently. Here's a sample routine. Morning. Think in English while getting ready. Afternoon. Speak 1 minute about your day and record it. Evening. Repeat 5 phrases you learned.
That's a great plan. And don't be afraid to mix it up. Use music, movies, books, friends, and even social media, but always come back to think, speak, repeat.
So remember, fluency is not just for the classroom. It's something you can grow right in your own life, every single day.
You can do this. Just start small, be consistent, and trust the process.
Coming up next, we'll share some real learner stories and how they use this formula to make amazing progress. All right, before we wrap up, let's answer some common questions from our listeners about the fluency formula.
Yes, we've received great questions, and I think these answers will help many learners who are listening right now.
First question, what if I don't have anyone to practice speaking with?
Great question. Don't worry, you can still practice speaking alone. Talk to yourself, record your voice, or speak in front of the mirror, and try shadowing. Repeat after a native speaker from a video or podcast. It's just as helpful.
Next question, I'm afraid of making mistakes. What should I do?
We all make mistakes. That's part of learning. It's better to speak imperfect English than no English at all. The more you speak, the more confident you'll become. Remember, mistakes are proof you are learning.
Here's another one I get stuck when I try to think in English. My mind goes blank.
That's okay. It happens. Start with small, simple thoughts. Try thinking in English about what you see or feel. It's sunny today. I'm drinking tea. I feel tired. With practice, your brain will get faster and smoother.
And one more. How long does it take to become fluent?
That's a big question. The answer is different for everyone, but if you use the think, speak, repeat formula every day, you can start seeing real progress in a few months.
The key is consistency, not speed. Don't stop. Keep going, even on the slow days.
Exactly. Fluency is a journey, not a race. Just keep practicing step by step.
Thanks to all our listeners for your great questions. If you have more, feel free to comment or message us.
We love hearing from you. And remember, you are not alone in your English journey.
Before we close, let's take a moment to talk about you. Yes, you, the listener.
Learning English is not always easy. There are days when you feel tired or stuck or even embarrassed. But guess what? That's normal.
Totally normal. Every fluent speaker once felt just like you. They didn't start perfect. They started with small steps, just like you are doing now.
You're on a real journey. And the fluency formula, think, speak, repeat, is your guide. It works, but only if you don't give up.
Every time you practice, even for 5 minutes, you are making progress. You are stronger, braver, and closer to fluency than yesterday.
So keep going. Believe in yourself. You can become a fluent English speaker. We believe in you, and we're walking this path with you.
This is your journey. Own it, enjoy it, and keep moving forward, one English word at a time. All right, friends, let's do a quick recap of what we learned today.
We introduced the fluency formula Think, Speak, Repeat. 3 simple steps that can help you speak English more naturally and confidently.
First, think in English. Start training your brain to use English in your daily life. Then, speak, even if it's not perfect. Speak alone, with a partner, or record yourself.
And finally, repeat. Practice daily. Make it a habit. Small steps every day lead to big fluency in the future.
Now it's your turn. Choose one step and start today. Even 5 minutes of practice can make a big difference.
And if you found this podcast helpful, please subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with someone who is learning English too.
We're here to support your fluency journey. So stay with us, keep practicing, and never stop learning.
Thanks for listening, and remember, you can do it. Just think, speak, and repeat.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Jason, and with me today is my amazing co-host, Julia. Hi, Julia.
Hi, Jason. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited for today's episode because we're talking about something that many English learners struggle with: how to talk to anyone in English.
That's right. Have you ever wanted to start a conversation but felt too nervous or unsure of what to say? Maybe you worry about making mistakes, or you just don't know how to keep the conversation going.
Oh, I've definitely been there. I remember when I first started learning English, I would practice grammar and vocabulary a lot, but when it was time to actually talk to someone, I froze. I was too afraid of saying something wrong.
And that's so common. Many learners feel the same way. But here's the good news: you don't need perfect English to have a great conversation. Today, we'll show you how to talk to anyone in English with confidence.
Yes, we'll cover why people struggle, how to overcome fear, simple ways to start a conversation, and how to keep it going naturally. Plus, we'll share some common mistakes to avoid and tips to end a conversation politely.
So, whether you're at work, traveling, or just making friends, this episode will help you feel more comfortable speaking English with anyone.
Absolutely. And don't forget to stay with us till the end because we'll also share a simple exercise you can do every day to improve your speaking skills.
All right, let's get started. First, let's talk about why people struggle to talk to others in English and how to overcome those challenges. So, before we talk about how to start great conversations, Let's first understand why many English learners struggle to talk to anyone in English. Julia, what do you think is the number one reason?
Oh, that's easy fear of making mistakes. A lot of learners worry that they'll say something wrong, use incorrect grammar, or pronounce a word badly, and then people will judge them.
Yes, but here's the thing. Most people don't care if you make small mistakes. They're just happy that you're trying to communicate. Think about it. When someone speaks your native language with a few mistakes, do you judge them?
Not at all. In fact, I usually admire their effort, but when you're learning, that fear feels so real. Have you ever been in a situation where you were too afraid to speak?
Oh, absolutely. When I was learning Spanish, I used to overthink every sentence, and by the time I finally figured out what to say, the conversation had already moved on.
Exactly. That's another big struggle, overthinking. Many learners try to translate everything in their heads before speaking, and that slows them down. Instead of focusing on the conversation, they're busy worrying about grammar and vocabulary.
Right. And that brings us to another problem, lack of vocabulary. Sometimes people feel like they don't have enough words to express themselves, so they just stay quiet instead of trying to say something in a simple way.
Yes, but here's a secret: you don't need a big vocabulary to have a conversation. You just need to use the words you already know in a natural way. We'll talk more about this later.
Another reason people struggle is shyness and lack of confidence. Some learners feel too self-conscious and worry about what others will think of them.
That's a big one. I used to feel nervous talking to native speakers because I thought they would judge my accent. But guess what? Most people don't care about your accent at all.
Exactly. An accent is not a problem. It's a sign that you speak more than one language. That's something to be proud of.
One more thing, cultural differences. Some learners struggle because they don't know how to start conversations in English. Maybe in their culture, people don't use small talk as much, so they feel uncomfortable making casual conversation.
That's a great point. In English, small talk is really common, and it's an easy way to start conversations naturally. We'll go over some simple conversation starters in the next part.
Yes. So, to sum it up, people struggle with speaking English because of 1. Fear of making mistakes, 2. Overthinking and translating everything, 3. Lack of vocabulary, 4. Shyness and lack of confidence, 5. Cultural differences in conversation styles.
But the good news is, all of these challenges can be overcome with practice and the right mindset. And that's exactly what we're going to help you with today.
So, now that we understand the struggles, let's talk about how to build confidence and overcome the fear of speaking. Stay with us.
Now that we know why people struggle to talk in English, let's focus on solutions. How do you overcome fear and build confidence? Julia, what's the first thing learners should do?
Great question, Jason. The first step is changing your mindset. Many learners think, I need perfect grammar before I speak. But the truth is, you don't. Mistakes are part of learning.
Absolutely. Think about how children learn languages. They don't worry about grammar, they just talk. And people understand them. It's the same with learning English. The more you speak, the better you get.
Yes, and here's a simple trick: focus on communication, not perfection. Your goal is to express yourself, not to sound like a textbook.
I love that. And another way to build confidence is to start with easy conversations. You don't have to jump into a deep discussion on politics. Just start with simple topics like, how was your day? What do you do for work? Nice weather today, isn't it?
Yes, small conversations help you feel comfortable. And another thing, practice speaking daily, even if you're alone.
That's a great tip. You can talk to yourself in English, describe what you're doing, or even read aloud. It helps you get used to speaking without pressure.
And if you're shy, start with voice messages instead of live conversations. Send a short voice note to a friend, or even record yourself. This way, you get used to hearing your own voice in English.
That's a great exercise. Also, let's talk about body language. Did you know that how you stand and breathe affects your confidence?
Oh, for sure. If you're nervous, take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and smile. It tricks your brain into feeling more confident.
I love that. And one more tip, find a speaking partner. Practicing with someone helps you feel more comfortable. You can join online groups, language exchange apps, or local meetups.
Yes! Practicing with real people makes a huge difference. And remember, the more you speak, the easier it gets. Confidence comes with action.
Exactly. So, let's summarize. Change your mindset. Mistakes are okay. Start with small conversations. Practice speaking daily, even alone. Use voice messages if you're shy. Improve body language. Stand tall. Breathe and smile. Find a speaking partner or join a group.
Yes! So now that we know how to build confidence, let's move on to the next step, how to start a conversation with anyone. Stay with us.
All right. Now that we know how to build confidence, let's move on to an important question. How do you start a conversation with anyone? Julia, do you remember a time when starting a conversation felt really difficult for you?
Oh, yes. When I was learning English, I always waited for others to start the conversation because I didn't know what to say first. But later, I learned that starting a conversation is actually very simple.
Exactly. Many people overthink it, but you don't need a perfect opening line. The easiest way to start a conversation is with a simple greeting.
Yes, a simple "Hi, how are you?" or "Hey, nice to meet you" is a great way to start. Most people will respond, and that gives you a chance to continue talking.
That's right. And if you want to make it even smoother, try using your environment to start a conversation. For example, if you're at a coffee shop, you can say, "Wow, the coffee here smells amazing. Have you been here before? I love this place. What's your favorite drink here?"
That's a great tip. Another trick is giving a compliment. People love to hear something nice. You can say, "I love your jacket." "Where did you get it?" "Your English is really good. How did you learn it?"
Yes, compliments are a great way to make someone feel good and start a natural conversation. And if you're meeting someone for the first time, asking simple questions is the key.
Oh, absolutely. People love talking about themselves. Just ask easy questions like, "Where are you from?" "What do you do for work?" "Are you enjoying the event?"
Exactly. And one of my favorites, talk about common interests. If you know someone likes music, you can ask, "What kind of music do you like?" If they love sports, ask, "Do you play any sports?"
Yes, and the best part is you don't have to talk a lot. Just ask a simple question and let the other person talk.
That's a great point. And remember, starting a conversation is just the first step. Next, we'll talk about how to keep the conversation going naturally. So stay with us. So, we've talked about how to start a conversation, but here's another challenge. How do you keep the conversation going naturally? Julia, have you ever been in a situation where a conversation just stops?
Oh, definitely. Sometimes I'd ask a question, the other person would answer, and then silence. I didn't know what to say next.
That happens to a lot of English learners. But here's the good news. You can keep a conversation going with a few simple tricks. The first one is follow-up questions.
Yes. Instead of just saying, "Oh, that's nice," after someone answers, ask something more. For example, if they say, "I like playing soccer," you can ask, "How often do you play?" If they say, "I'm from Spain," you can ask, "Wow, What's your favorite thing about Spain?
Exactly. The key is showing interest in what the other person says. And another way to do this is by sharing your own experiences.
Right. A conversation shouldn't feel like an interview. If they say, I love traveling, you can say, me too. I visited Thailand last year. Have you been there?
That's a great example. And here's another technique using echo questions. This means repeating part of what they say and turning it into a question. For example, if they say, I love Italian food, you can say, Italian food? What's your favorite dish? If they say, I'm learning English for my job, you can say, oh, for your job. What kind of work do you do?
I love that. It makes the conversation feel natural and engaging. And one more tip, use expressions like, oh, really? Tell me more about that. That sounds interesting. How did you start doing that? Wow, I'd love to hear more about it.
Great advice. And remember, be a good listener. When someone is talking, don't just think about what to say next. Really listen and react to what they say.
Yes. People love talking to someone who listens and responds with interest. And if you ever don't know what to say, just smile, nod, and say, that's really interesting. That keeps the conversation flowing.
Perfect. So, let's summarize, ask follow-up questions. Share your own experiences. Use echo questions. Show interest with expressions. Be a good listener.
Yes, and now that we know how to keep a conversation going, let's move to the next challenge, how to end a conversation politely. Stay with us.
All right, we've learned how to start a conversation, keep it going, and even how to end it politely. But now, let's talk about something really important: common mistakes English learners make when talking to people. Julia, have you noticed any common mistakes? All right, we've learned how to start a conversation, keep it going, and even how to end it politely. But now, let's talk about something really important: common mistakes English learners make when talking to people. Julia, have you noticed any common mistakes?
Oh, definitely. One big mistake is giving short, one-word answers. If someone asks, do you like music? And you just say, yes, it stops the conversation. Instead, you should add more. Like, yes, I love pop music. What about you?
That's a great point. Another mistake is talking too much about yourself and not asking questions. A conversation should be balanced. It's not just about what you want to say, it's also about listening to the other person.
Exactly. And another mistake is being too afraid of making mistakes. Many learners think, oh no, what if I say something wrong? But the truth is, people don't care if your English isn't perfect. They just care about the conversation.
That's so true. And one more mistake: not making eye contact or using body language. If you look away or don't smile, people might think you're not interested. So even if you're nervous, try to smile and look at the person while talking.
Yes. So let's quickly summarize the common mistakes to avoid giving short, one-word answers. Talking only about yourself, being afraid of making mistakes, avoiding eye contact or not using body language.
Exactly. Avoid these mistakes, and your conversations will feel much more natural. Now, let's move to our final section: practical tips for improving your English conversation skills. Stay with us. All right, Julia. We've talked about how to start and keep a conversation going, but here's another important skill: how to end a conversation politely.
Yes, sometimes we don't know how to say goodbye without being rude, but there are easy and natural ways to end a conversation.
That's right. The first way is thanking the person and giving a reason to leave. For example, it was really nice talking to you. I have to go now, but I hope we can chat again soon. I really enjoyed our conversation, but I need to get back to work. let's talk again sometime.
Those are great. Another way is to make future plans before ending the conversation. It was great meeting you. Let's catch up again soon. I'd love to continue this conversation another time. Maybe we can grab a coffee next week?
Yes! And if you're at an event or party, you can say I won't keep you any longer. But it was great talking to you. I see someone I need to say hello to, but I really enjoyed our chat.
Those are all polite and natural ways to end a conversation. The key is to be friendly, smile, and leave on a positive note.
Exactly. So, now that we've covered how to start, continue, and end a conversation, let's wrap up with some final tips for improving English conversation skills. Stay with us. Wow, Julia! We've covered so much today: why people struggle to talk in English, how to start a conversation, keep it going, and even end it politely. Now, let's finish with some final tips and encouragement for our listeners.
Yes, my first tip is practice every day, even in small ways. You don't need a classroom, just talk to yourself, record your voice, or chat with a friend.
Great tip! And my advice is, don't be afraid of mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. The more you practice, the more natural your conversations will feel.
Absolutely. Also, listen to native speakers, watch movies, listen to podcasts, and pay attention to how conversations flow.
Yes, and most importantly, be confident and enjoy the process. Every conversation you have in English makes you better.
That's right. So to all our listeners, keep practicing, keep speaking, and remember, you can talk to anyone in English.
Thanks for joining us today. If you found this podcast helpful, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. See you next time.